Officer Daniels, accustomed to uneventful patrols, could never have anticipated the surprising scene awaiting him down a quiet alley. He discovered a young boy, dirt-streaked yet determined, cradling two newborns with tender care. His mind raced, questions forming as to how such a trio came to be here. Daniels halted, stunned, as he unraveled the origin of the babies. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Daniels quickly reached for his radio. "This is Officer Daniels," he called in, his voice steady. "I need backup on Elm Street, near the alleyway behind the old bakery." He took a deep breath, glancing at the boy and the two infants nestled close. "I'll stay with them until help arrives," he assured, keeping his eyes on the little trio. As the rain dripped steadily around them, Daniels crouched beside the boy. "Hey there," he said gently. "My name's Daniels. Can you tell me your name or where you're from?" The boy just tightened his grip on the babies, eyes wide with a mix of fear and defiance. Not a word escaped his lips, his silence speaking volumes as Daniels looked for any flicker of trust. Daniels sensed the unease and chose to shift his approach. "It's okay, you know," he murmured, not pressing the boy further. "You're safe now. I've got you." The boy's shoulders relaxed slightly. Daniels kept his voice low, soothing, watching as the boy's grip on the babies softened just a bit. Any hint of trust was a victory here, a step closer to understanding. The rain continued to fall as Daniels stood, looking around the alley for any signs of what had led the boy and babies here. He scanned the walls lined with graffiti, the damp, puddled ground, the shadows deepening at dusk. A discarded blanket nearby caught his eye, but it offered no clear answers. Daniels noted each detail, aware that every piece might be crucial. The rain's rhythm intensified, each drop reminding Daniels of the urgency to find shelter for the children. The chill in the air seeped deeper into his thoughts, heightening the responsibility he felt. "We need to get you all somewhere warm," he said, concern lacing his words. Yet even as urgency nipped at his heels, Daniels maintained his calm demeanor, knowing panic wouldn't help. Flashing lights heralded the arrival of backup, their presence relieving some of the weight on Daniels' shoulders. "We've got it from here," came a colleague's voice. Daniels nodded, still steady beside the children. A few officers joined, discussing where the children could be safely taken. "We'll bring them to the station, check upon arrival," Daniels coordinated, confident that teamwork could navigate this mystery. At the station, medical personnel quickly took over. "Let's ensure they're all right," one said, gently examining the infants. Daniels watched intently, grateful for the expertise at hand. The small cries and coos of the babies turned into reassuring sounds. "They seem healthy," confirmed a nurse, her words bringing relief to Daniels. Yet behind the relief lay the question of what came next. Daniels ensured his superior stayed updated, relaying details from the scene. Reports began to filter in, possibly linking their discovery to a broader web. "There's chatter about missing persons," a colleague mentioned, drawing Daniels' attention. The prospect of a deeper connection sparked thoughts. He remained firm, knowing that somewhere an answer waited, a link that might explain everything and reunite these children with safety. The investigatory paths crossed when a delicate connection emerged between the children and an unsolved case. "Look at this," an investigator said, pointing to highlighted sections in an old file. Resemblances, though faint, drew lines between the past and present. Daniels felt a flicker of hope, realizing these shadows might soon reveal their secrets. It was a spark, a lead that they desperately needed. Officers split into small teams, knocking on doors of nearby houses. A few residents peered out, curious yet cautious about the unexpected police presence. "Have you seen any unusual activities nearby?" an officer asked, jotting notes. Most shook their heads, unaware of the unfolding mystery. However, one elderly woman hesitated and then mentioned seeing the boy once, hurrying along the alleyway just a day ago. As the media caught wind of the mysterious trio, news vans circled the station like moths to a flame. Journalists crowded near the entrance, eager for any scraps of information. "Is it true about the abandoned infants?" they shouted. The pressure was palpable, urging officers to uncover answers. The case became a headline story, and Daniels felt the weight of the spotlight pressing down. Finally, a breakthrough came when the boy muttered softly, drawing Daniels close. "I remember a park," the boy started, eyes distant. "A place with lots of trees and a fountain." His vague words painted a picture for Daniels, igniting hope. Encouraged by the boy's willingness to communicate, the officer nodded. "That's great," Daniels said, jotting details. "We'll find it, I promise." Detectives shared the new lead with patrol units, directing them to focus on areas with parks fitting the boy's description. Officers set out in pairs, asking passers-by if they recognized the children. "Do these kids look familiar to you?" one officer inquired, showing a photo. Some stopped to scrutinize, but most shook their heads, faces blank. The path narrowed, yet the search continued, persistent and hopeful. Back at the station, Daniels checked on the boy, who now seemed a bit more at ease. Reaching into a closet, Daniels pulled out a few toys, his way of offering comfort without words. "You like cars?" he asked, handing him a red toy car. The boy's fingers traced its shape, eyes lighting for a moment. It was a small step, but trust grew in these simple exchanges. The radio buzzed with a stream of updates, one particularly catching Daniels' ear. "Suspicious activities reported near an abandoned warehouse," he heard. Curiosity piqued. Daniels shared the news with his team. They knew the importance of every possible clue. "Let's check it out," Daniels urged. The team now had a new direction, another thread tugging at the intricate tapestry of their investigation, pulling them forward. As the officers deliberated, Daniels couldn't help but notice the boy's interaction with the babies. They clung to him naturally, as if used to his presence. The infants showed unmistakable dependence, reflecting some shared bond forged through circumstances beyond anyone's understanding. "They trust you, huh?" Daniels noted with a quiet smile, watching the gentle display of care. The shared moments between them spoke quietly of something deeper. Each passing hour felt like a ripple extending across uncertain waters. Tensions climbed as investigations steered in broader directions, yet answers remained elusive. Daniels could feel the collective anticipation and urgency. Every break or whisper carried its weight, and the officers worked tirelessly. "We need a breakthrough," a detective voiced what they all felt, eyes fixed firmly on the waiting game that seemed far from over. The lead steered them toward an abandoned house in the identified area, its shutters closed like eyes watching from the void. "This place fits the description," an officer noted, glancing at peeling paint and overgrown lawns. The team assembled outside, considering the possibilities hidden within. Another officer pulled out a flashlight. "Let's check it carefully," Daniels suggested, focusing on the house that now demanded their attention. Moving with caution, officers crept through the dim hallways, flashlights sweeping the space. The house was empty, save for cobwebs and shadows. Old furniture lay haphazardly, as though someone left in haste. "Nothing here," an officer murmured, disappointment coloring his voice. Yet the signs of life, once thriving, hinted at stories untold. "We keep looking," Daniels replied, conviction underscoring the team's resolve to uncover hidden secrets. The officers' continued investigation led them to a neighbor whose keen eyes had noticed peculiar activities. "An elderly woman often visited the house," she recounted, "always carrying large bundles. Her words painted a picture of mystery unfolding just next door. Intrigued, Daniels made a note. This neighbor might hold the key to understanding the odd comings and goings, offering a thread to follow in their investigation. Despite the neighbor's observations, the officers found themselves at a frustrating standstill. While searching the house for photographic evidence, they came up empty regarding known suspects. An officer sighed, examining each picture carefully. "None of these faces match what we have on record," Daniels muttered, shaking his head. The lack of matches urged them onward, knowing they had to dig deeper to solve the mystery. Determined not to let the lack of leads dishearten them, Daniels turned to the archives of older missing child cases. "Let's see if anything jumps out," he said, flipping through pages of faded photographs and reports. Each case was carefully scrutinized, hoping for a connection. Though the task seemed daunting, the potential for discovery kept Daniels fueled, searching for the elusive piece that fit. Daniels sought to jog the boy's memory by showing him an array of photos. "Do you recognize anything here?" he asked gently, spreading the images out. The boy scanned them with careful eyes, his attention lingering on certain objects. "This one looks familiar," he whispered, pointing tentatively. Each glance held promise, small sparks that could illuminate the stories hidden behind his wide, curious eyes. While following the next lead, an unexpected tip directed detectives to a curious halfway house. "There are rumors," an informant whispered, "of clandestine adoptions happening there." The suggestion intrigued them. Its potential linked twists in their case together. Driven by curiosity and a need for answers, the team prepared to explore. This submerged detail might unravel crucial information long buried in secrecy. Upon stepping inside the halfway house, dusty records and photographs awaited their examination. "Look at this," an officer pointed out, highlighting a file. The documents hinted at connections between current and past scenarios, resembling jigsaw pieces, finally making sense. Daniels and the other detectives felt excitement bubbling under the surface. Past mysteries started aligning, indicating a complex web that might soon unravel. With the gathered evidence, detectives set to work tracing links between names and descriptions spanning multiple cases. "Cross-reference these," one officer suggested, aligning files chronologically. Each dotted connection brought clarity, much like reconstructing fragmented memories. As Daniel scoured the documents, he realized each small breakthrough served as a step forward, inching them closer to uncovering the truth behind the shadowy dealings. Officer Daniels opted for a different approach when interacting with the boy, engaging him in simple games. "Let's try this," Daniels offered, rolling a ball across the room. The boy's response was genuine, tiny stories tucked within their moments of play. Bit by bit, his life unfolded softly in tales. Daniels, patient and observant, listened carefully, collecting fragments that gradually became clearer. Throughout their gentle interactions, the boy painted vivid fragments of his life through simple narrations and responses to Daniel's playful prompts. "I remember this place," the boy mentioned, reflecting on a photograph. Each small recount provided new detail and shaded their growing understanding of his history. While the full panorama eluded them, these stories provided subtle clues, each a step closer to clarity. The detectives, powered by newfound hopes, pursued the investigation tenaciously, meticulously untangling the web that each clue had woven. "Let's analyze these new findings," Daniels urged, focusing on piecing the puzzle. Complex threads, once daunting, began to separate under scrutiny, slowly forming cohesive narratives. Each discovery paved the path toward deeper understanding, propelling them toward answers that seemed almost within reach. In a quest for answers, detectives questioned several individuals suspected of involvement in a trafficking ring connected to the mysterious trio. The adults, brought in under a looming cloud of suspicion, found themselves facing scrutiny from sharp-eyed officers. Each interview held the weight of potential breakthroughs, yet answers proved elusive. Officers leaned in, hoping that each word spoken might unravel the tangled mystery surrounding the children in their care. The interrogations wove a tangled web of conflicting stories and fading memories. Each adult seemed lost in their own narrative, details bleeding into one another without clarity. Faces shifted, voices wavered, and truth remained just out of reach. The contradictions only deepened the officers' resolve, pushing them to sift through the chaos in search of the one thread that would lead them to solid ground. Amid the chaos of adult stories, the boy gently shared a striking recollection from his mind. "I remember the smell," he murmured, almost to himself, "like wet grass after the rain." The officers paused, considering the significance of such a sensory detail. It lingered in their minds, a cue that stood out amidst the jumble of vague accounts, stirring curiosity about its potential meaning and source. Intrigued by the boy's mention of wet grass, detectives refocused their efforts on identifying agriculture-related sites or florists in the vicinity. Maps unfolded, calls were made, and teams coordinated searches, hoping to pinpoint a location matching such a distinct scent. The officers pushed forward, aware that every lead, no matter how obscure, had the power to illuminate the path to the truth behind the trio's ordeal. After relentless searching, detectives narrowed their focus to a derelict nursery, rumored in whispers to be central to shady dealings. The location, now devoid of life and purpose, stood as a silent witness to transactions both legal and clandestine. Officers approached with a mixture of apprehension and anticipation, the nursery's reputation preceding it, as they prepared to uncover whatever secrets might lay hidden within its history. Back at the station, the boy began opening up more, diving into memories as he sketched out scenes from his past. "I know this place," he said, drawing a building that officers guessed might relate to the nursery. His vivid recollections offered canvases painted with experience and remembrance. Each sketch prompted officers to delve deeper, aligning geographic insights with investigative trails converging around his emerging narrative. A pivotal moment came when, amidst the decaying files of the nursery's office, Officer Daniels discovered birth certificates cleverly concealed in false walls. The documents, dusty and cryptic, bore details linking to two unnamed parents, described eerily similar to the babies. With this revelation came a surge of momentum as the team realized they stood on the precipice of understanding, sensing the mystery unfolding with each piece revealed. The birth certificates held clues pointing to unknown parents whose characteristics mirrored the babies exactly. Experts gathered, reviewing cases of missing individuals and the unsettling implications revealed by these documents. The team hoped to uncover connections linking them to past narratives, fueling hopes for answers. Each potential lead was scrutinized, seen as part of a larger web as officers pursued clarity amidst the fog of uncertain details. Experts assembled, compiling insights from long-closed cases, seeking patterns or anomalies that could explain the twins' origins. "This changes things," noted a seasoned investigator examining the birth records. Discussions buzzed with theories and possibilities. As they evaluated evidence, common themes emerged, offering glimpses of connection and continuity. Still, despite progress, not all missing pieces snapped into place, leaving parts of the story shrouded with lingering questions and uncertainty. Even as revelations unfolded, conflicting emotions clouded the path to resolution. For every answer surfaced, another seemed to slip from grasp. Officers wrestled with satisfaction from progress made against the frustration of inconclusive elements. The elusive nature of the complete truth tugged at their efforts, but grew a collective drive to see it through. Daniels felt these mixed feelings deeply, knowing the true essence lay close yet unfulfilled. Amidst reports expanding across various networks, officers remained unaware of approaches more imminent than they realized. A clock, hidden beneath scattered debris, ticked steadily. It pulsed unnoticed, its rhythm in stark contrast to the urgency surging through each investigation phase. Oblivious to this quiet countdown, officers focused on any potential ransom notes or communications. The timeline felt tight. Impatience grew, yet the underlying pulse ticked softly beneath their radar. Digging deeper, investigators stumbled upon information about a mysterious missing biomedical researcher. Rumblings of trials conducted in past months surfaced, hinting at hidden activities that had taken paths into obscurity. Some trials seemed to vanish on paper, just like their orchestrator, yet threads tugged at silence long maintained, suggesting possible connections. Detectives cautiously peeled back layers, each potential revelation fanning the embers of emerging answers closer to light. Beneath dust and time's weight, investigators unearthed confidential records detailing experiments involving the twins. These documents revealed their participation in health studies aimed at examining rare conditions. The pages spoke of clinical environments and coded terminologies, unfamiliar landscapes navigated by unknown guardians. Though stark realities were named, the question of the boys' critical involvement remained unanswered. Each line nudged them closer to understanding, but demanded more inquiry. Despite uncovering the twins' roles in the experiments, questions lingered. How did the boy become their caretaker? What guided his protective actions? With soldiers' precision, detectives gathered facts, yet no narrative fully explained the boy's presence. His silence, a fortress of unanswered queries, left spaces unfilled. Their curiosity, as protectors, intensified, spurring the pursuit for truth hidden within the shadowy boundaries of inquisition and instinct. Hospital staff aligned meticulously with detectives to authenticate discovered documents. Steps included verifying medical credentials, corroborating trial participation, and ensuring procedural accuracy. Investigators worked hand in hand with professionals, determined to scrape beyond surfaces and dive deep into the narrative. Synchronized efforts aimed at revelations, not just factual, but insightful, signified cooperation at its peak. Every hour brought new whispers, painting their pursuit in unwavering shades of collaborative determination. Notes recovered from the absent researcher's belongings offered a glimpse into motives possibly ethical, even desperate. These scribbles suggested conflicts, a cosmic dance between choice and unforeseen consequences. Woven through lines describing trial aims were hints of deeper concerns. Was it scientific pursuit gone awry or moral dilemmas at crossroads? Each entry pushed the narrative further, drawing the team into the ethical quagmire between personal passions and wider impacts. As the investigation continued, each unearthing peeled another layer from a story complex in composition. Every newfound word or clue compelled a more structured unraveling, and their combined weight pointed toward a comprehensive understanding. Detectives embraced the momentum with rigor, knowing woven connections intertwined familial and professional pursuits. Questions slowly formed into understanding. The need for complete clarity ignited sharper focus across multiple angles and directions. Driven by fresh evidence, detectives decided to expand their investigation beyond local confines. From county lines to neighboring jurisdictions, teams coordinated outreach, blending resources seamlessly across geographical boundaries. This wider net cast represented a commitment to thoroughness, spanning discussions and frameworks that often paralleled borders. Collaboratively, Hope renewed efforts, linking regional strengths, ideas, and perspectives, knitting them toward a singular and comprehensive goal, shining within sight. Pooling resources, departments work together to decode messages and intentions lurking within confiscated materials. Analysts and field officers shared spaces previously segregated by jurisdictional nuances, united under one expansive objective. Deciphering coded files meant unlocking pathways, inductions that could bridge open cases. This cooperation paved new roads toward understanding, signaling that coherent intentions might remain nested deeply, but were within grasp across synthesized skills and knowledge. Emerging details hinted at organized care networks scattered across regions. Detectives deciphered patterns reflective of connectivity between varied situations and cities. Trails previously unnoticed now showcased alignment strategies. An underlying coordination seemed to persist, disguised yet intricate, requiring adept knowledge and caution. Motivations, faces, and actions began weaving a more interconnected tapestry of exchanges and interactions. The reality, once fragmented, turned into discernible paths, suggesting more than just coincidence. Back at the station, Officer Daniels laid out every scrap of detail, ensuring no stone remained unturned. Sitting in the briefing room, he shared descriptions of the boy, the twins, and the alleyway scene with fellow officers. "We need to paint a clear picture here," Daniels stated, emphasizing precision. Together, they dissected the information, searching for strings that tied together their initial observations. Daniels found himself torn between the ongoing compassion for the boy's plight and the complex layers of the evolving investigation. At each juncture, he grappled with the added pressure of new leads and missing pieces. "We can't overlook any clues," he reminded the team, balancing his thoughts as they worked through logistical and emotional intricacies, both critical to unlocking the full scope of the case. With every tick of the clock, the team edged closer to weaving together the multifaceted truths concealed by the mystery. Facts gathered from interviews, documents, and station files started to intertwine, revealing a richer story beneath the surface. "We're almost there," an officer noted, hinting at a breakthrough. As each minute passed, they felt momentum building toward untangling the efficiently sealed secrets they sought. Determined to unveil every hidden layer, Officer Daniels pushed relentlessly for answers, focusing on a full understanding of what transpired. "We need a holistic view," he urged, rallying his team to continue piecing together disparate events and observations. Every action, no matter how small, seemed to hold potential fragments, crucial to forming a complete narrative. Their investigative vigor hung on each discovery, encouraging hope. Alongside dedicated colleagues, Daniels plunged into the accumulated mountain of documents, driven by the urgent need to resolve outstanding questions. Each officer brought perspectives, and as they sifted and organized the information, discussions flowed. "There's something here we've missed," one officer opined, prompting fresh analyses of interactions and notes. Together, they approached closer to ask relevant questions, ones that could unlock the mystery within them. In resurfacing old connections, the team uncovered a series of personal stakes that broadened their perception of the narrative. As memories unspooled, layers revealed unexpected overlaps with past cases. "Look, it ties back to 2 years ago," an officer exclaimed, opening up another archive page. A bigger picture started taking shape, bringing urgency and stakes into sharper focus, each highlighted point fueling their resolve. Information trickled in, piecing together timelines with newly uncovered truths. Emails, photos, and files clarified previous uncertainties, painting a vivid picture. "These are the bridges we need," Daniels noted, recognizing patterns that had eluded them until now. The revelations steadily illuminated the path forward, unraveling the messy strands into a coherent tapestry of interconnected realities. Each revelation, a beacon pointing toward the ultimate clarity needed. As investigators sifted through collected data, every piece of information propelled them closer to the breakthrough poised on the horizon. Slowly amassed clues offered a strategic path forward. "We have to keep pressing," Daniels encouraged, guiding the team. The complexity of the case necessitated their thorough and dogged persistence. Inch by inch, they pushed boundaries, getting ever nearer to the significant answers, awaiting discovery. The team readied themselves for pivotal revelations. Daniels and his colleagues meticulously reviewed the critical details that would steer their course in tackling pending questions. "This is our turning point," an officer remarked amid the stacks of paper and evidence. With minds focused and determination bound in mutual goal, they readied to expose truths that lay dormant, yet stood ready to redefine their investigation's scope. Finally, the break they had sought came to pass. The investigation unveiled the twins' involvement in an underground fertility experiment shrouded in mystery. The findings ceased their entire movement for an instant, echoes of preceding tales revealing more than anticipated. "We've got it. We know where they're from," Daniels announced, stunned by the magnitude of this revelation. The team now faced new implications and questions. Officer Daniels stood frozen, the revelation hitting him with a jolt. The boy's role was far deeper than anyone initially understood. He wasn't just a victim or a passerby. He was central to the narrative. A knot of emotions, part awe, part concern, formed in Daniels's mind. He glanced at the boy, now seen through a lens of newfound respect. Understanding his part in the unfolding story was vital. As details crystallized, one clue shone clear. The children were rescuees from an experiment led by the missing researcher. Each document, each whispered conversation, confirmed this unexpected truth. Daniels felt the weight of responsibility shift, knowing their origins explained much about their current peril. The experiment, cloaked in secrecy, created a narrative that bound them vulnerably to the guardianship of a brave young soul. The boy, silent yet steadfast, held within him stories that needed telling. His eyes carried the weight of watching over his charges, simultaneously a witness to their earlier life and a present guardian. Daniels recognized the quiet strength in the boy's demeanor, the unshed tales waiting for safe passage. Each word, when spoken, would add layers to their understanding, painting a fuller picture of what transpired. Daniels extended appreciation and heartfelt gratitude to all participating in the lengthy investigation. The shared strength among different teams fortified the journey from chaos to clarity. Offering words of comfort to the boy, he acknowledged the collective effort surrounding them. Officers, social workers, and community members whose combined actions underscored a palpable commitment. Together, they wove threads of kindness and dedication, holding fragile realities securely in place. Though closure felt tentative, it was undeniably in motion, inching forward with truths illuminated by careful hands. The children's extraordinary existence within the experiment's context highlighted their need for protection beyond normal bounds. Each revealed fact carried with it echoes of resilience and courage. Daniels and the team pushed steadily toward final answers, ensuring the stability needed to safeguard both the boy and the babies, in their care. The closing moments draped softness over collective shadows, revealing what lay beneath. Realities shaped by honest care and unyielding resolve. As Daniels pieced together the remnants of their enigmatic story, the tapestry of human fear and hope in crisis stood clear. Compassionate deeds took form through acts large and small, reinforcing bonds that memories would forever hold in frames of safety and hard-won justice. Determined to secure the children's future, Daniels ensured their safety through social services dedicated to their well-being. As processes unfolded, a blanket of attentive care wrapped around the young lives thrust into uncertainty. Social workers alongside attentive officers addressed immediate needs, prioritizing hope. With support networks established, Daniels felt a wave of assurance. The trio would receive all resources necessary to rebuild and thrive beyond past shadows. The team archived the intricate journey into formal reports, documenting the emotional resilience and tenacity marking the investigation. Daniels and fellow officers found satisfaction in translating their findings into a well-rounded narrative. By compiling every observed detail and discovery, they captured the essence of a remarkable resolution. It brought significant relief, threading closure into the broader tapestry of hope and highlighting the tireless pursuit woven throughout their work. A sense of accomplishment hung in the air as officers gathered to acknowledge their collective effort. Daniels, along with his colleagues, shared smiles, stories, and gratitude for the perseverance that had carried them through. Each reflected on the road traveled and the mysteries unraveled. The challenges faced, though daunting, became markers of progress in a journey marked by truth, central in pulling them toward brighter horizons. Amidst quiet reflection, Daniels pondered the unfolding of events, thankful for the privilege to bring truth into the open and shield the innocent. The gravity of the challenge and its eventual resolution lingered with each officer. Being part of a narrative centered on protection, courage, and revelation reaffirmed their dedication. With humility and hope, Daniels embraced his role in enlightening past shadows, forging paths for brighter futures.